I don't think I understand. I don't think I understand.
The system.
So,
What do you guys want to talk about? All right, let me just stop. I'm just playing. All right. Wait, how do I open up this show again? Wait. All right, yes, you're here with the best there is, the best. Nah, that's not it either. All right, I got it. To be the man. Woo, you got. Dang it, what's wrong with me today? Okay, hold on. One more time. We got it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. That's more like it. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 3 of the phenomenon known to all as Saturday afternoon's main event. Of course, it is December 24th, 2022. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of y'all. Happy Boxing Day. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. Merry Chrysler. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. Happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, with it being that it's in 46-degree weather and I'm here in a tank top knowing that I'm in Florida, and I have on the December 25th, 2000 episode of Monday Night Raw in the background. Of course, you can see R-Truth, oh man. Look at us. Oh yes, it is the holidays, ladies and gentlemen, but there's one more thing missing. There we go. That's more like it. Look, okay. Now here's the thing. If you don't know who I am, and you've been watching this show for however long, which is absurd to me because you have to know who I am. If you don't, I suggest you go to school, even though you're on break probably right now. Go to the library, find the biggest dictionary you can find, preferably Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. And of course, right under at the bottom right there in the ticker, yes, it is I, the phenomenal one. But of course, on a certain episode like this, on Saturday afternoon's main event, I'm never alone. Why? Because joined by my side is the most death-defying, deep-voiced dynamo in the business today. He is the limousine-riding, jet-flying, kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing son of a gun. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, he is most certainly not having a hard time holding his alligators down. Now, what do you have to do, ladies and gentlemen? Give me 2 claps and a peeps. Nate!
Woo!
There we go.
Yes, we are here. It's been a while, but yeah, we've been here. And then, of course, you are chilling in Saint-Tropez, or you're actually moseying down out there in California somewhere, or wherever you are.
California's
I'm
crazy.
in the Northeast, and in the Northeast, where I'm at, it's 13 degrees outside. So, have again, very Merry Christmas Eve. Hopefully you're staying as warm as you can. But if you're not warm, we'll try to keep you warm with some hot wrestling talk today.
Most definitely, peeps. You got it on the money there. So once again, yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to episode 3. We have a good little episode for you guys today because, of course, this is the one gift that we can possibly give to you that is filled with laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with it right here today on Same. And the one way we have to start it, ladies and gentlemen, you know that once you go ahead and hear that theme song right there, it is time for Fast Track. So, look, I told peeps I would do him a solid, give him a perfectly good wrestling gift. And it is in the form of a rant, so you may hear many I digresses gifted to you guys today within the span of 15 minutes here on Same. And it is titled
I digress list right here. So for those that are trying to figure it out, it's right there.
Of course he has a list, ladies and gentlemen. But look, here comes peeps with the topic of today. And it's all of one person. And as much as I would think that April Fool's Day is today, it's not.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this topic is on the one, the only Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! Oh my God, this is shocking. Peeps, the floor is yours.
Okay. I brought this up to my partner a little while ago, and I figured maybe we can squeeze this into the show because I've kind of tried to figure out how I would want to word this, how I'd want to bring this up. And it's sensitive for a lot of people, me included being a Ric Flair fan. This happened about a week ago. where Ric Flair was on his podcast To Be the Man, which, by the way, it's actually not a bad podcast. He's done
It really isn't.
podcast. He's done many different podcasts over the years. He's had different hosts and co-hosts, etc. This one is helmed by his son-in-law Conrad Thompson, who we've listened to on other podcasts. Does a very good job.
Isn't Conrad Thompson let's just be clear here, peeps. Isn't Conrad Thompson the same SOB that got his father-in-law to wrestle one last match and milk the hell out of it? Listen, okay,
yes,
look.
that's the same one. That's the same one.
You know what? I digress. Peeps, get back to it.
Got the first one already. So
And it wasn't even from you.
Yes.
This tells you enough.
Yes. Basically, it was a normal episode where, and I've noticed something about Flair over the last 6 months of his podcast, where he gives zero you-know-whats about a lot of things. And one of the things that he's talked about, we heard him go on the record about Eric Bischoff, which I'm pretty sure he still harbors ill feelings towards, and a lot of people don't like Eric Bischoff at all because of some of the things that he did, especially to Flair and his family.
Yes.
But there was one thing that he brought up that I have to talk about, and this is something that I know a lot of people that have different feelings about Ric Flair. Other people have feelings about Jim Ross. And yes, Jim Ross is the topic of this part of the story. Ric Flair went on his podcast, I believe it was last week, and talked about how, based on the Dark Side of the Ring episode, where Jim Ross was a prominent part of it in that Plane Ride from Hell episode, which we all know has been documented, got Ric Flair in a lot of trouble. That episode, even though the Plane Ride from Hell happened 20 or so years ago, it still had resonance today off of the accusations that happened on that plane ride. A lot of wrestlers that either got fired or were suspended and got into a lot of trouble. And the actions that Ric Flair has alleged to have been on. There was a comment that was made on that Plane Ride from Hell documentary that was shown, where Jim Ross had literally said that it basically somebody has to be able to know when to walk away from Ric Flair. Because in the clip that was shown and from some of the other stories that I've heard other people say, that Ric Flair has sometimes been his own worst enemy. And it's been well documented over the years that he can be his own worst enemy because of just his own natural personality, things that he's done, things that he's said, the alcohol that he drank, which led to a lot of issues with him, including almost costing him his life because of his health. So we that's all well documented.
I mean, he still drinks, so I mean, you know that.
And he drinks, he smokes, he lives his life.
Cannabis, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I mean,
yes. Yeah, talking about real Ric Flair drip. I mean, he's really doing it big out there.
Oh man, talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually saw part of an interview that Flair did with, of all people, Mike Tyson, and they were both.
They were balls Mahoney high. I mean, Lord,
they were both lit.
Talk about it, peeps.
Yeah,
but we can't move away too much.
Yeah,
of course.
But what I have to say about this part is that he, being Ric Flair, talked about Jim Ross after Ross made the comment. Now, mind you, they splice parts of interviews and do that in the editing process, and they put it in there. And then Flair proceeds to go on a real big rant about Jim Ross. And it sounded real personal about Flair saying, I don't have any respect for Jim Ross. Jim Ross is only in the business because he's chasing clout, and even more so, trying to stay relevant. Now, if you're going to say something about Jim Ross and say, well, maybe his commentary isn't as good as it was, say, 10 years ago, that's a fair point. You can say that. He's curtailed his work from being on the main show of Dynamite to now strictly only doing Rampage. And he's not even doing play-by-play, he's doing color. So he's curtailed his work down because he knows, I believe JR is in his 70s. He's not doing a lot of the same work that he's been doing. And he's even talked about and criticized his own play-by-play efforts over the years. But for Ric Flair of all people, who has the lifestyle that he has, everything out in the open, for him to actually go out on a podcast and literally rip Jim Ross only because he said something that Flair didn't want to hear is kind of literally why so many people distance themselves from Ric Flair.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's funny because you brought that up, because I remember when I heard it, I think one of the things that he said was around the lines of WTF did Ross mean that you got to know when to walk away from Ric Flair? Well, WWE learned when to walk away from Jim Ross. I'm going to the 30th reunion. Do you think he is? And I was just like, Rick, you're 70 years old. How petty could you possibly be? I mean,
apparently very.
I mean, Lord.
Yeah, and part of the problem with this is, and this is something that I'm going to detail so that people can kind of understand where I'm coming from with this. First off, if we can remember, if we're going to start this whole, those who live in glass houses can't throw stones, just remember back in 2014, there was a press conference or a press junket, so to speak, to promote the WWE's video game. It was a 2K14. And I believe Flair was on the panel. I think Jim Ross was on the panel. He was hosting. Flair was on the panel. I believe it was Rey Mysterio Jr. or Rey Mysterio now. I still call him Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yep, so, I don't blame you, peeps. WCW days, it makes sense.
WCW days, yeah. I believe CM Punk was on that same panel, as well as Steve Austin. And a couple of other wrestlers were there. And from what I remember, Ric Flair was stone cold drunk. He was inebriated during that entire deal. And he said a lot of things at that press junket that got him into a lot of trouble, saying a lot of personal things about the company. Things that you shouldn't be saying if you are supposed to be an ambassador or an employee of WWE. And this is, mind you, this is under the Vince McMahon era. So we know this is 10 years ago, at least, or close to 10 years ago. That's vintage Vince McMahon era stuff. And the problem is, Flair said so many things. Vince McMahon then blamed JR for this whole instance happening, of the whole thing going off the rails. Problem with that is, that got Jim Ross fired. And I don't remember hearing Ric Flair coming to JR's defense as much as he claimed, because from what we have already heard and we talked about a long time ago, and this was pointed out in other interviews, Ric Flair and JR, they've known each other for so many years. As a matter of fact, Ric Flair introduced JR to who would be his wife, his future wife. So they were seemingly very close. So for him to attack JR is part of the problem with Ric Flair, in the sense that if you do not seemingly surround Flair with people that will agree with him, or talk about things that he wants to hear, or don't schmooze him in the right way, he goes on the attack. Just remember, it wasn't that long ago that he went on the attack on WWE after they took his name and took his likeness off of the opening of Raw and SmackDown for one of the pay-per-views, premium live events. And he went on a rant on his podcast. Oh, they took me off again. I'll never do business with the WWE. I love Vince McMahon, but I can't do anything with WWE. And lo and behold, what do we see? He's doing a documentary with the WWE. And they brought it back in, and they brought his opening in, and they brought his opening voice in, and that's what that was. So it's very disingenuous, as far as I'm concerned, to hear Ric Flair rant and rave negatively about one of the best people in the business. And although I've never met JR, and we know
I have,
that he says, you gotten a chance to meet him.
And he's a nice person. Trust me. It's shocking it's shocking to hear when you have to hear Flair go ahead and say that. Because it's just like, honestly, JR, former executive vice president of talent relations, you're talking about a man that's been inclined to going ahead and, telling people that they have to go, that, their services are no longer needed with the company. But the fact that people hate Johnny Ace more than they hated Jim Ross, and they still talk about Jim Ross to this day as being one of the most prominent figures in wrestling's unique historic history.
Yes.
How in the hell do you land a bad note in the book of Ric Flair? Because Ric Flair is Ric Flair. I mean, honestly, does he mean most of the things that he said? Maybe off of Henny. Maybe off of some Ric Flair drip, as you may call it, or as he may call it. Whatever the case may be. To us, and in my perspective, what I saw was just complete pettiness. Nonetheless. And what I feel should happen is just, the same thing they did with Scott Steiner. You do a Ric Flair, and you know what that is? Don't give the man a mic. You're giving him attention, he will draw it to him and actually cause a stir. And when he causes a stir, people will talk about it for weeks. I mean, honestly, Rick's mouth, listen, Rick cashes checks. Like, Rick says things with his mouth that he will never be able to cash. He writes checks and they'll never be cashed with his mouth. And I mean, honestly, I'm going to undermine whatever he said. Because honestly, we know Jim Ross. From what we've heard, from all the other stories from many different professional wrestlers, what we've heard about Jim Ross has been solid gold. I'm not going to go ahead and sit here and say to myself, listen, you know, Rick said this about him, you know, maybe it's... No, because honestly, truth be told, the plane ride from hell, peeps, if I kid you not, I probably watched that episode about 20 times because it's entertaining to me to think. Because honestly, you're going to tell me that whatever Ross did, you would believe anything from Ric Flair's mouth about Jim Ross. Honestly, I'd listen to whatever Jim Ross would have to say about Ric Flair because honestly, it sounds true. You really think Rick... Listen, as much as I love Ric Flair, you really think Rick ain't do it? It's Rick at his prime. Come on.
And the crazy part about this is from all of the different stories from other people that were involved in that plane ride from hell, Jim Ross himself saying JR literally had to basically be he had to be the den mother of a lot of the wrestlers on that plane. He had
Dustin
to
Rhodes
be
the one of them.
Alpha male to watch all of these other people, and we've heard all of the stories with the Dustin. We heard the Mr. Perfect, and we heard all of the other incidents that happened on the plane, the fighting, and then the debauchery, and all of the other things that were happening, the things that Flair was accused of. You know about the stewardess that was on the plane that has alleged that Flair assaulted her in a sense. These are the kinds of stories that popped up years ago, but the plane ride from hell re-highlighted a lot of these accusations and a lot of these stories, a lot of them that we either knew about or didn't pay attention to because we didn't know the intricate details of all of the things that were being alleged. So now, being with that being said, if we're going to go ahead and say that, like, Ric Flair, who has a right to say whatever he wants,
of course,
just comes out of nowhere and says the things that he says about JR, just because JR was trying to tell people that you got to know when to walk away from Ric Flair. And I think there was always that difference between Richard Flair and Ric Flair. And I think a lot of people talked about that dichotomy of who is who within that dynamic over the years. And as I said, I don't know Flair personally. I've only met him once. I've seen him in person three or four times. He signed and autographed my book, his autobiography, which I've shown on the show weeks ago. And I've always been fascinated by Ric Flair as the in-ring talent, the guy that can work, the guy that was the best wrestler in the ring, the guy that could talk. But personally, outside of the ring, he still comes across as very, very petty. And in some instances, it's detrimental to his relationships with other wrestlers going forward. And I've heard from Shane Douglas. I've heard from some of the other wrestlers that have talked about him, from like Conan and all the other names that go on and on and on that have had said very negative things about Ric Flair.
Yeah. Sometimes
when you hear stories like this, it almost validates a lot of the negativity that he got from the other wrestlers over the years. Yep. And that's the saddest part about this whole entire thing. And that's where I'm going to leave it at that.
Most definitely. Well, yes. Peeps, you're welcome. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Taekwon is in the chat. Merry Christmas to you, Taekwon. This is what he said. Flair's like the first letter of his last name. He don't give a F. Flair is Wolverine. He's never going to die.
That's another one.
Flair basically said, "I got invited to the party, not you." That's pet. Ty Cardi on a roll. And he said, last one, if it were real checks, they'll probably bounce based on Flair's spending habits.
I like that.
I love my fans. Oh, man. Our fans are amazing. I kid you not, peeps.
It's early Christmas, that's for sure. That's an early Christmas present. But thank you, my friend. Yeah.
Of course. From there, we move from one person to another old man that's in his 70s. And, seems like he wants to go ahead and come back to be relevant. And that person is... why do I gotta say it? I usually say he who shall not be named, but due to the fact that listen, I'm friends with Voldemort. I'm more afraid of this man. I kid you not, peeps. Wow. And based off of the name of the topic, the return of the Mac, ladies and gentlemen, Vincent Kennedy McMahon is trying to come back to his duties of being president of World Wrestling Entertainment. What in the blue hell?
Yes.
Why? Just why? Why? Of all things, why? Why?
I think we can. I'm not even going to wave the white flag. I'm waving the green flag because this is a green flag of greed. That's what I'm waving. I'm going to tell you the reason why I think he's doing it and the reason why he wants to do what he's doing.
Let me hear it then.
You got to understand, somebody who has worked his entire life to being the creator of what we currently call sports entertainment, not pro wrestling, but the sports entertainment aspect of what we enjoy as what we look at today. And he has been in it 40 years, 50 years after buying the company from his father, taking it over, turning it into a national promotion, and buying out all of the territories, taking a lot of the key talent from there and adding them to his machine that was the WWF. And then eventually, as it became the WWE, moving even further ahead. He's been the head of that for so long. And for him to not be involved in it now, it's killing him. And especially the fact that he's being looked at as abrasive. It's going against what the company needs, what they want, and even more so, his son-in-law and his daughter are running this company, and they're getting much more attention in a positive sense. Viewership is up. I'm pretty sure the stocks are up from the shareholders. Advertising revenue is going up through the roof, mostly because the old antiquated way of the WWE and Vince McMahon's vision are no longer influenced in that company the way it is. And it's eating him alive. It's like Popeye to spinach. It's like Woody Woodpecker to a tree. It's like Pac-Man to the ghosts. You have to eat. And the problem is, he knows if he can, because it's still his company, he still owns it, he still has the controlling shares. If he wants to, he can go back and take over and do whatever he wants.
Peeps.
But I think, in the grand scheme of things,
okay, there we go.
I think he knows that if he does, he's going to be completely detrimental to the continued growth of this company. And let's really be honest. AEW exists because of Vince McMahon and his harsh ways and his old antiquated storylines and the fact that he didn't give certain talent the right push and put them in the right situations. That's why AEW exists. That's the reason why they did so well while Vince was running WWE. Going forward, now that Vince is not involved, how many of those people in AEW
want to come back? Exactly.
That's the problem. And
I'll toast to that with a Sprite.
Eating him alive at that.
Peeps, I'll toast to that with a Sprite cranberry. I kid you not.
There you go.
Honestly, yeah, we don't want Vince back. I don't think none of us want Vince back.
I'll do it with some iced tea.
That works. Pure leaf.
Yes.
Amen to that, peeps. Amen to that. Amen to that. Look. All right, from there, we move into the world of Impact Wrestling. Yeah, shocking Impact on Saturday afternoon's main event. Peeps, I think you need to go ahead and get another shot of Pure Leaf because it seems like that kind of messed you up, man. I'm so sorry, but look, Impact has filed a trademark, ladies and gentlemen. Another shocking thing. You know what? This is just shocking. This is crazy. Yes. They filed a trademark for the name of an old WWE superstar. Shocking again.
Yes.
Peeps. Drum roll, please, so I can release the name of the person.
Bing.
It is Santino Marella.
You sure that this is Christmas Eve and not April Fool's? That's what it seems like.
Opposite day, for God's sakes. I mean, peeps, to think they filed a trademark for the name of Santino Marella. Okay, cool. That means Santino's coming back to wrestling. That's nice. But look, peeps, honestly, you know how weird it will be to see somebody go ahead and do the mannerism of...
Oh, Lord.
In Impact Wrestling? Are you kidding?
Yes. Go figure.
What are your thoughts on this, peeps? I mean, honestly, I don't...
I'm looking around trying to figure out what are they on. Like,
Taekwon's on a roll. Taekwon's on a roll. Santino, Jim Cornette is destroying his house right now as we speak.
Yes, exactly. There you
go. Man, he's not even wrong.
I'm telling you right now. It seems like they're trying to do whatever they can to try to get themselves talking about trying to be staying relevant. Now, I still, every so often, I still look at Impact Wrestling. It's nowhere near the same way it used to be.
Oh, but it's not like 2010. It's not like 2010 to 2013 level at all. No, it's not touching that.
But they still have talent.
Of course.
They still have good. The problem is that the presentation looks like it was trapped in the pandemic era.
Yep.
If you look at the way that they do the presentation, they do have people there, but it looks like maybe 300, 400 people are there at any one time in the studio when they record the show, and to have a name that's attached to somebody that has never been in the promotion, and to use that, I don't have anything to say about that. I'm befuddled about that. Look, I'm sweating because of how crazy the story is. Yeah.
Oh man, peeps. Yes. But it's not the only outside promotion from AEW and WWE that we're gonna be talking about today.
Oh yeah.
New Japan really went above and beyond on this one. Guys. Aside from Impact, you see, I had to go ahead and find a way to, easing up the gap, but this still sucks. But I mean, I'm still intrigued to see how this goes. Yes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you do know about New Japan Pro Wrestling, you would know that on January, I believe, 4th, New Japan Pro Wrestling will be hosting their flagship event, Wrestle Kingdom 17.
Hard to believe they've already gotten to 17 of these already.
Exactly, peeps. It's crazy enough because, it feels like yesterday. Really, it really does feel like yesterday when we got to go ahead and see, I believe, Wrestle Kingdom 13 with Okada versus Omega.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? You remember how 5 stars across the board.
Omega and the Omega feud versus Jericho when he debuted the Painmaker gimmick.
Oh my gosh.
That was great. I still love Chris Jericho's Painmaker gimmick, especially when he was in New Japan. I really thoroughly enjoyed that, especially how he brought it out there. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, it's time for the Painmaker with the jacket and the studs and the paint. Look early Road Warriors paint,
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Oh yes, most definitely. But guys, see, I kind of made a mistake. I was wrong. Wrestle Kingdom 11, because I believe 13 was against I believe it was Tanashi. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah. See, I kind of messed up on there. But look, still, Wrestle Kingdom has gone a long way. But honestly, now we're hearing that next year, in a couple of weeks, all right? Actually, 1 week from now. Yeah.
About 2 weeks, yes.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Yes.
New Japan is about to have a WWE talent end up showing up at Wrestle Kingdom. And her name, her name is Mercedes Vernado. How in the hell does New Japan land Sasha Banks? How? Just, whoa, what?
Yes.
Oh my God, like.
And that was a rumor I remember telling you about a couple weeks ago. There was something that I heard but couldn't confirm. So go figure.
Couldn't confirm exactly, but oh my God, New Japan Pro Wrestling signed Eva Marie. JK.
Yes, yeah.
But
yeah, Wrestle Kingdom is starting to look loaded. I mean,
yup. Oh, it's an amazing card this year.
The wrestler formerly known as Sasha Banks. From what I think I remember, I believe FTR is going to be on the card.
Oh yeah.
They may as well be on that card. That would be something. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be loaded. And it's usually Wrestle Kingdom is usually a 2-day event, which is where the WWE probably got their ideas for making WrestleMania 2 days, because they can do a main event on Saturday and then a main event on Sunday, and can tell those talents that you have are in a main event, and not just think, oh, we just cut the card in half and we're going to continue it the next day. So that's where a lot of that concept probably came from. But yeah,
Peeps, of course. But I mean, Sasha Banks. Peeps, we see Sasha Banks come up on our TV screens on Access Television. Although we're hearing that it's going to be streaming on the New Japan app. You know, we'll find our ways. We'll find our ways.
Yeah, we'll be able to see it at some point. Yes.
Yeah, at some point. Maybe the same day, you know.
Yes.
Watch wrestling and say, did I say something? I think I said something. Well, look, guys, here's the thing. To see Sasha move from WWE to New Japan, which is not, but I mean, there's so many new feuds. But the thing now is that we know that New Japan works with AEW. So next year's Forbidden Door may look a little like, I mean, seems like AEW
Forbidden Door. This starting to sound like a forbidden elevator. I mean, good. They're bringing in people left and right from other promotions now. This is getting out of control.
This is shocking.
I digress.
Yeah,
the second one.
Second one of the day, guys. Second one of the day. It's Taekwondo Forbidden Hotel. I don't blame you, man. Go. I really don't blame you. That's what it sounds like. Yup. All right, but yeah, that's all we're saying for now. We'll go ahead and cover the whole match, all the matches by next week, around that time frame. But don't worry, guys. We'll keep it coming for you guys. But yeah, Sasha Banks, New Japan. Oh Lord. From there, we go to the world of AEW, long awaited. And here's the thing: AEW Dynamite blows up old look and sets the motor down on a new look.
Yes.
Zing. Am I just on a roll with this? Come on, guys.
Yes.
All right, let me stop. But look, we got a new commercial for All Elite Wrestling's Dynamite. Seems like they're going with a new look, new aesthetics, different lighting. Seems like we're in hopefully a new stage too. Golly,
they've had that same look since they started in 2019.
Exactly.
So that's understandable. I mean, we're used to it. WCW did it after having that same look that they did with Nitro, and then they had with the steel and the old WCW logo, and then they completely redid the logo, and then they made the logo open up so that the wrestlers walked from between the logo on the stage and came back. So yeah, this isn't anything new. SmackDown did it with, remember, the exploding fist logo that they used to have, and then they've changed over the years, and then the giant jumbotron, and now it seems like everything is an 8K movie that the WWE is doing. So yeah, I think AEW going through its first production reboot. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm pretty sure Rampage will follow suit because they film and tape the show. Of course, the same day that they do Dynamite.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Hopefully that's not a spoiler alert for people, but yeah, that's what they usually do. Yeah.
Exactly right, Peace. But yeah, that's what it seems like. So I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what it looks like by next year, January 4th.
Yes.
From there, guys. This marks the end of the first half of Saturday afternoon's main event, shockingly. We don't have no opening topic for you guys because, listen, coming up after the questions, we have the most perfect one yet. If you guys have a hunch on what you think it may be, you can sound off in the comments, and we'll see what you guys come up with. But from there, listen, stay tuned. Do not go anywhere because the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event is coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event. Peeps Nate joined by the phenomenal one here. Of course, you know what this means, ladies and gentlemen. This means we've gotten to the part of our questions. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. First one comes from Tombstone City Adam. He says, Merry Hanukkah, Christmas, Krima. What's your greatest WWE Christmas moment? Now, you know, peeps, there's so many.
Yeah.
Honestly. But if there's one that I actually can pick, and you'll remember this one. There's a good couple. You'll remember this one. I think it was probably somewhere between the 80s and the 90s. Bobby the Brain Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon. I believe it was on Primetime Wrestling. It had to be 1990. Had to be. And how do I know about this? Listen, them cassettes came in handy, man. I guess it was Heenan fumbling Christmas decorations. I remember exactly. He had the ornaments. He was messing up with them. He couldn't handle them. And Monsoon just started gaslighting the man. I mean, Lord have mercy. Yes. And Heenan, made this statement. And he was, it was just about delivering toys to underprivileged children. And it was so funny to me. And being a little kid, I was just like, yo, Heenan, you suck. I hate you. Golly. It was just one of those things. That had to be one of them. I mean, honestly, one of the most earliest ones for me. Another one had to be, I believe it was during the Alliance and WWE days. I guess it was 2001. And Austin and McMahon were trying to see who had the better Christmas party. That's another one. That's another one. I mean, honestly, yeah, that was oh man. And then you had Austin trying to go ahead and run through Jingle Bells. Forget it. Good times. And then last but not least, I can't lie to you, has to be Christmas in 1997. Stone Cold Stunning Santa Claus.
I was just about to go there. That was where I was going.
That's where you was going too. Yeah. Oh man. See, that tells you enough. Because I mean, for me, you would have to think 2003 when he dressed up as Santa and he stunned McMahon. But I mean, honestly, no, Stunning Santa, point blank, period. Yes. That does it for me. Taekwon says this December to Dismember. We can bring up.
Oh yeah, that was some crazy stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah. The pay-per-view wasn't all that great, but it did have some. It had its moments, but yeah.
Oh, most definitely did.
Yeah, I think when we think of WWE, WWF, and Christmas, we usually think about some crazy things that happen either in an interview or something that happened on television. Usually, they're not running pay-per-views or anything like that on the holiday, but yeah, it's insane. Yeah, there's some weird moments that you can point out too, and I think that the Austin stunning part, I think that was one of the more tame but funny moments you could think of.
Of course. Taekwon brings up another cool one. Rock singing 12 Days of Christmas.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I felt sorry for Test. Honestly,
Yeah.
that like the people's elbows, the rock bottles, the spawn busters, sharpshooters,
Yes.
and the plenty of eyebrows. Right? Oh man.
Yes.
Good times. We've had too many great times as wrestling fans. I kid you not.
Oh yes.
But
yes.
Tombstone City had an amazing question. Merry Christmas to you, bud. Long Island Isaiah with the next one. He says, "We're getting a greatest moments of 2022 for Raw next week. Feels like I'm back in 2005." Shockingly enough, he's not wrong. Peeps, you remember? I mean, honestly, like since like WWE moved into like the whole thing of let's still have like tape shows for like Christmas and New Year's. Why not? Or they would actually go live on those days. Even though it was just like, oh man, back then we didn't have that. What we had, I'd have to sit in front of a television late at night and sit there and just rewatch some of the greatest moments of wrestling. Even though me and Peeps were just like encyclopedias, we were just like, I saw this happen already. I know when this happened. Why like, can I just see some new wrestling?
And then you try to guess. Oh, well, I saw that. Okay. Oh, well, then,
Yeah.
Oh, then,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, when are we going to get to see somebody in the ring? I want to see somebody get chopped. I want to see somebody get.
And that's what made it more ironic, because it was like they would have like that silhouette of them in the like everybody producing like the show in the back with the ring there, them setting up and stuff, and you just had Coachman and Jerry Lawler, like Jerry and Jim Ross, sitting up in like the nosebleed section of the arena and just talking about the greatest moments. And I just sit there like, okay, somebody gonna go ahead and come out now to the ring and like start wrestling, like whatever the case. Peeps, bad times.
I used to always find it fascinating that they would do a show where there was no one in the arena. That they would sit down and, well, I remember. Let's go back to January of such and such when such and such happened. And then let's go back and so and so and so. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then maybe you might get an interview with that wrestler that was in that clip. Like you see them, well, we're here in an empty arena, and let's talk to Joe Blow from Schmo. And then Joe Blow would talk about Schmo makes the most sense. And then he'd walk off, and then, okay, that's it. Well, let's go to the next clip that happened in February. And they would do this for the whole hour or 2 hours, and they were like,
exactly what I'm saying, Peeps. Good times.
Yes.
Huh, yes. Honestly, it's cool. It happens. Next and last question comes from Master Sean 007. He says, Greetings. My question today will have a Christmas theme to it. Number 1, how many wrestlers can you name that have worn red and green wrestling gear? And 2, how many wrestlers can you name that have rocked a Santa Claus style beard? Peeps, let's just go off the top of our heads, honestly.
red and green. I've seen Arn Anderson wear red and green.
Red and green. Oh, I mean, not red and green, but red or green. So, I mean.
Red or green. Well,
Kane.
Yes.
Orton. Triple H. Shawn Michaels. Exactly. Flair.
Steamboat.
Of course, Steamboat.
As a matter of fact,
Hogan
Steamboat won the NWA World Title wearing that green trunks.
Exactly.
And the green outfit. And Flair was wearing red. Oh, there you go. Right in the same match.
Yeah, right in the same match.
Yes.
You said Arn Anderson already.
Yes.
Who else? The Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yes.
The
Great Muta, I've seen wear green. I've seen him wear red.
Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
Eddie Guerrero.
I've seen the Rock and Roll Express wear green. I've seen them wear red.
Exactly.
The Rockers, the Midnight Rockers, if you want to call them that.
You can forget about them. I believe. There you go. The Midnight Rock. Yeah, Marty Jannetty and Sean. What can I possibly think of? Jeez.
Yeah, there's a ton of.
There's a ton.
Yeah.
We just can't name all of them, but I mean, listen, that's a good. We forgot about one. Thank you, Type.
Yes,
the Hurricane.
Yes.
Booker T. Listen,
Yes.
they come in clutch for us. Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Hey, the Peep Snake.
The Peep Snake, for God's sakes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Peeps, wait, you wrestled in your past life?
Oh, when I was a little wee bitty.
Haven't we all? They said don't try this at home.
Yes.
We defied
There's
the odds.
red, and
there's the green.
So there you go.
Oh man, talk about it.
Yes.
And wrestlers that have rocked a Santa Claus style beard. Hillbilly Jim.
Oh yeah, Uncle Elmer.
Braun Strowman.
Yes.
Bray
Strowman
Wyatt.
all over.
Oh yeah, I mean, talk about it.
Yes.
Who else can we possibly name? I know one. Oz.
Oh, good lord! Even though it wasn't his, we go into Oz. I'm gonna go to Jerry Blackwell from the AWA. Although
Oh
his beard
man.
wasn't as long, but it was there. Who else? Yeah, that goes to show you where.
Yeah,
where
that tells
in
you.
the business that goes.
Oh yeah,
to show
Daniel
you.
Bryan.
Yes.
Neidhart. The
Yes,
Anvil.
the Anvil.
God
Yeah,
rest
baby.
his soul.
Yes.
Big Show, Bruiser Body.
Yeah, Bruiser Brody and the Barbarian.
Dutch Mantel, for God's sakes.
Mantel, you could probably sleep in his beard right about
Oh,
now. Even though
man.
it's more of a mustache and a beard, but it's
Yes,
still.
but I mean, yes. Zeb culture for
lay
you, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
can lay a small child in that.
Oh yes,
Just
oh yes.
Have somebody jump rope on the handlebar.
Uh-huh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. God rest his soul, Brody Lee.
Yes.
Would you count Mark Henry's beard? I mean, it wasn't.
Well, yeah, you can say it was Santa style, but it was much more rounded. It was much more trimmed.
Yeah.
But remember, that's what he do. If you remember that. Yeah.
Foley. Would you count Foley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would count that as, yes.
Foley. Yeah. Foley works.
Yeah.
Foley works.
Yes.
Foley works. Yeah. I mean, wow, man. To think about it, peeps.
Just right off the hilt. Just left, right. So yeah.
left, right. There you go for it. Yes. Oh man, but yeah, peeps. That's about a good number, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a million of them that we don't even have time to get into. So you can just imagine that.
Most definitely. I mean, listen, yes. if we did have the time to get into all of them, you know, peeps, I don't even think we would get into next week's episode the same. It would be that, it would be that bad.
It would probably be next Christmas.
Oh yes, most definitely. Yeah, we can't do that, guys.
Yes.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, marks the end of the questions for today's episode of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. We always tell you guys, listen, you want to go ahead and send in questions, you want to go ahead and be a part of the show, all you got to do, peeps, point right down to it. Follow us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons _main event. DM us a question and it will be featured on the next episode of the show. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go into the last topic of today's show. So here's how we're going to go ahead and open this up. Peeps, let's start out like this, all right?
Okay.
Honestly. We have, well, I mean, not me, but you have seen a lot in your span of years as a wrestling fan.
Yes, in my 5,000 million trillion homunculus years.
Of course. Talk about it.
Yes.
And before we go ahead, it wouldn't be Christmas without Hot Rod 316. How in the blue blazing hell does Peeps live in New York and the phenomenal one lives in Boombox, Florida, but you both have the same barber?
And this is
he's just
trying to be a troll.
Listen, he's just mad because my bald spot hasn't developed at the beginning of my head yet. Now that it has Peeps's. All right? Yes. Stand back. You're good. But look, yeah. You've seen a lot.
Yes.
You have seen many valets come and go as well.
Yes.
One of the valets that captivated the world of professional wrestling has to be Sonny, right?
Yes.
And look where Sonny has been now. I mean, man, shocking.
Unfortunately.
Yes. But with the way that Playboy was developed and everything out of that, certain ordinary time, she was mainstream for her success, right?
Yes.
Fast forward 2022. WWE just came to terms with the release of one of their more prominent superstars. When I say prominent, I mean, former women's champion, held the NXT women's title for a long period of time. And when I say that, you already know who the heck I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about Mandy Rose. Shockingly, when we woke up, we sat there and we watched NXT, and we found out that Roxanne Perez became champion. Now we were like, oh, that quick? Something got to be going on. Maybe she's just going to go ahead and get moved to the main roster ASAP. And then the next day we wake up and Mandy Rose is released by WWE, and we sit there and we're like, what the heck? What happened? Does she just not want to be there anymore? What whoa, like, what's going on? Minutes later, I go back on Twitter and I find out the reason she got released was because, this is not a joking matter, but it's so funny. She got released because her OnlyFans content got leaked.
Yes.
And
not the fact that she posted it, the
Not
fact that it
because
was
she-
leaked.
okay, let's put it this way, peeps.
Yes.
Do you know, in my lifetime, I say this now, God bless me. Do you know how many times I ended up going to school in a Catholic-oriented atmosphere, okay? With nuns and everything. And my friends who watched wrestling just as much as I did and had access to the internet just like I did, but with a much more clearer mind as to what they were searching for, would come back to school on a Monday and be like, Rich, check out Paige and Xavier Woods.
Ooh.
That tells you enough.
Yeah.
Peeps,
Yeah.
they didn't get released. Did Brad Maddox get released too?
Oh, there you go.
Caitlyn, Victoria, Maria Kanellis. I can go on forever, baby. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, shout out to Home Alone for that one. But, yeah, peeps, where, and I mean, I understand. Look, in my stance, I'm just like, okay, they didn't want her to have an OnlyFans. She proceeded to keep it. She fought for it.
I think that this site is called Fan Time. I think it's called
Fan Time. I mean,
it's roughly the same kind of site. So
Yeah, same kind of
it's
site.
understood. Yeah.
so it's like, cool. She fights for it. Whatever. They let her have it. Now her content gets leaked. When other photos or whatever, have gotten leaked from other wrestlers and they haven't got released, but she ends up getting released. Here's the context that I understand it from. Maybe, the reason they released her is because it's accessible and, the other content that probably came from whatever other wrestlers wasn't really, like accessible to that stance. And it was just like, kind of like hacked into your phone, got those pictures and then just like, leaked it out to the rest of the world just for them to see. So it was like with Mandy willingly going ahead and putting that out, knowing that this was probably a bad image anyway, it still ended up happening. Wasn't talked about until it got leaked. And now that it's leaked, and we already told you that we didn't want you having it, listen, out the door.
Yeah. And also the fact that the WWE couldn't cash in any money off of this based on the content involved.
Vince
We
would.
went through this last year with all of these wrestlers having to lose third-party dealings that they were
Yup.
doing on the
Twitch.
side with Twitch and with YouTube and with Amazon and all of the other sites that they were potentially doing things with. A lot of wrestlers are gamers.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely nothing wrong with it. I'm a gamer. You're a gamer. We're all gamers.
Of course.
So we all know that there are certain wrestlers that we will probably follow on either Twitch or on Twitter or whatever social media site that they are on, and maybe on YouTube, and check them out. Oh, it's Adam Cole and Xavier Woods are playing Street Fighter online, and they're just chatting and talking to their fans and having a good time. Okay, cool. Oh, they're making money off the advertising from the clicks of people going up on there to watch it. Okay, fine. WWE sees this and says, you know what? You guys are on a streaming service using characters that are created by WWE. Either we get a slice of that, and then we dictate what you can actually put out, and you can still make money off of it, or get off the platform altogether, or there'll be consequences. And a lot of wrestlers said, you know what? I'm making far too much money in WWE to stay on the platform. Then there were other wrestlers that said, you know what? I'm making far too much money on this platform to stay in WWE. I got a problem with that. And a lot of other wrestlers, AJ Styles included, and a bunch of other wrestlers that were involved, Zelina Vega, lost her job in WWE over the same situation, but she was brought back some months later after, I guess, negotiations happened, et cetera, et cetera. What we're seeing here with Mandy Rose's situation is her content is much more adult oriented. WWE is a PG product where they are literally making money off of teens and kids, family, wholesome entertainment. If I don't know how wholesome you can have with people, spitting black gunk at other people and doing that kind of stuff. The over the top stuff that we see in WWE, and say that that's marketed towards the youth and kids and et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's a different argument.
Talk about
But
it.
with Mandy Rose, it comes across as very hypocritical in the fact that she should be able to make whatever she wants to make as long as she's not harming herself or the company involved. And the shareholders that are in the WWE are looking at that and saying, well, how did that happen? Well, if the WWE knew what she was doing before anything leaked and there was no problem then, why is there a problem now? The only reason why there's a problem is because things leaked and we know who Mandy Rose is, and the WWE is realizing, okay, we can't walk this back. You got to get off the platform. And of course, between whatever negotiations they had, you know what, that doesn't make any sense. And realizing, and this is the funny part of this whole conversation. Days after she was released from the WWE, it was reported she made a ton of money.
Oh, she made a ton.
She made $500,000, and I kid you not, over $500,000 on the platform that she was on.
Peeps.
Just days after her being released.
Peeps. I guess MJF's promo of men drinking off in their grandmother's basement actually rang true.
Wow.
The minute Mandy Rose got released, I kid you not, because peeps, listen, 500K. 500K? You know how many?
I'm guessing. God. I'm gonna give you the PG version of this. The fact that Mandy Rose was released helped a lot of other people release other things. If you catch my drift. So that being said, I find it awfully hypocritical that the WWE is doing, but they were kind of painted in a corner here, in the fact that they have their reputation of family, wholesome entertainment. They're selling video games and toys, movies, T-shirts, all of those kinds of things, and the market that they're aiming for is I just saw the
yo, I can't.
Yeah,
Peeps, I can't.
You can't make this stuff up.
Farmer with Parkinson's, Jesus, bro.
Good grief.
Mercy.
Yeah. This is. I'll put it to you like this. I think it gets to a lot of people that look at the WWE and wonder why certain things are the way they are, how that they're being done, and is it going to change over the years? And I don't think you're going to see that much of a change based on what kind of content she was doing, but that no one, as you said, accessibility of it is that you can't just readily go ahead and say, well, I'm going to do that. You have to pay a premium to see this content.
Of course.
The content was leaked, and that put them in a light where, wow, we're starting to see Mandy Rose exposed in other ways that we don't feel comfortable with being shown. Mm-hmm. How do we answer that if, say, parents call up WWE or write an email or go to their social media and then start asking questions about, well, why is the NXT Women's Champion being shown without any clothes? Or why she's in a particular pose, or what's going on here? How does that work?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem that the WWE has right now. And it's like I said, it's awfully hypocritical because as you mentioned, so many other wrestlers in the past that have gone this route has had things leaked. Charlotte Flair had stuff leaked from her phone. A lot of these other wrestlers have had personal pictures leaked on the internet from their phones through iCloud or whatever is the case, and a lot of them didn't get fired or asked to be released or whatever was the case. So that's where the problem is.
Yep, but I mean, peeps. So, in this sense, where do we go from here? Does this mean that, one Tony Khan will go ahead and, attempt to, hire one Mandy, Sacramento, and from there, add her to the All Elite Wrestling roster, and then, reiterate Eric Bischoff, since he has some type of infatuation with Bischoff, reiterate Eric Bischoff's HLA fan club.
I don't see.
let me not say. Yeah, no, peeps. I'm playing. Yeah, come on, man.
I don't see Mandy Rose getting into a wrestling ring anytime soon. I think what she's going to do is probably based on how the contracts are with WWE. You get released, you get that non-compete clause. We got to wait 2 or 3 months, and so probably let that go. She'll continue doing the content that she's been doing. Maybe she's going to go on, maybe get into acting, do Hollywood. Maybe she stays on the platform that she's already on. Maybe she says, you know what, I don't need the wrestling business anymore. I've saved up the money that I had in the wrestling business, and I'm doing this, and that's the stepping stone to the next phase of what she wants to get in her career. Maybe that's the way she goes. But I think that's kind of the avenue that is being taken as we look forward as to this whole situation.
I understand you. Well, from there, we got one more question here, and it comes from Hot Rod. Peeps, you don't have to answer this. Peeps, I kid you not. Peeps, do not answer it. Peeps, don't answer it. Do not listen to this man. This speaking. Oh my God, Lord of mercy, Peeps.
Yeah.
Don't answer the question. Yeah, don't answer the question. Yeah.
The only thing I will say is that this looks like a really big form of clout chasing.
Yeah, it really is. This is worse. This is worse than Ric Flair going ahead and trying to get some clout off JR. Jesus. Yo, Hot Rod, don't you have some gift wrapping to attend to? You know what? I got you. I know what's wrong. You haven't gotten a Christmas present yet that's actually worth meeting your time. You know what? You want a Bosley membership? I'll get you a Bosley membership. I got you. Hot Rod, send me your address through the DMs on Instagram, and I got you. Bosley hair treatment, best in the game. I kid you not, man. I got you.
Grief.
Merry Christmas Eve. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, with that being said, an hour and 2 minutes.
Yeah.
This is shocking. Peeps.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is
something. Yeah. Wow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Screw you and Santa. How amazing. I'm loving it.
Yeah, and a happy bah humbug to you too. Yeah, exactly.
Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Thank you for tuning in to Season 5, Episode 3 of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. As we said, of course, today is Christmas Eve, and I was shocked because I thought to myself we would have went on for at least 2 hours today. But an hour and 2 minutes. I kid you not. That was quick, peeps.
Yeah.
Time goes
pretty good. Went quick.
Fast. Yo, this was durable, man. This was durable. Yes. But look, guys. With it being that it's Christmas Eve and that Christmas is tomorrow, we just got to go ahead and say thank you because listen, above anything else, you guys give us the gift of being able to speak to all of you guys. You give us the gift of being able to enjoy time just speaking on pro wrestling. Most people, listen, you would think, we would hate that, we have to sit here and speak for hours and hours and hours upon wrestling. But truth be told, this is probably one of our favorite gifts. Honestly, being able to go ahead and sit here and talk about it and talk. Listen, I don't think there's anybody else that can possibly touch us when it comes to being encyclopedias of the game. We enjoy this, and we know that you guys enjoy it too. And to be able to go ahead and do this, on somewhat of a almost every Saturday basis, being here, same time, doing what we do best and doing what we love, it's amazing. And you guys let us.
It's hard to believe that we've been doing this as a team for almost a year and a half now.
Exactly. Yup.
It's gone by so quick.
Exactly.
And it's from before we able to get the video stream up, and then now we got the video stream up, and you can see our gorgeous faces.
Of course.
And you can go ahead and listen to our deep and raspy voices.
Exactly, right?
Yes, I find this as the gift that keeps on giving. And yeah, Christmas is tomorrow. Kwanzaa is Monday. So for those that are celebrating it, and for those that celebrate Hanukkah as well, it's been an absolute treat so far. 2022 is almost over, like just like that, very quickly. So
Shocking.
for those that are out there that are like shopping, listening to us, and maybe they're out shopping, trying to traverse, that Arctic bombogenesis is what the meteorologists are calling it. And
bombogenesis, that's crazy.
Yes, it's going to warm up eventually, and hopefully we've given you just a little bit of that chance to warm up while you're out there. Maybe getting the last eggnog out in the supermarket, or you're going to get that last shirt or that last PS5 if you can find it for the.
Lord of mercy on their souls. That doesn't deserve it. Underprivileged privilege.
Because there are a lot of kids out there that are trying to get me this, get me that, and they don't deserve it. But you get it for them anyway because you love the kids. So yes, for all those out there, have a merry, merry, merry Christmas and stay safe. And more importantly, stay warm.
Oh, yes. You guys can most certainly do that. I will do that on my end as much as I possibly can. Even though, Peeps is kind of hating on me because it's 46 degrees out here. But look. As he said, guys, it's funny because Taekwon, as, Peeps was speaking on, we've been doing this for like a year and a half already. And it's gone by quick. Taekwon had to say it's going by quicker than men finishing the Mandy. Golly. You don't miss.
With some Febreze. I got to spray that
you
one out.
You don't miss. You do not miss.
Yes, that's right. Mellow don't miss.
Wow.
That was a good one.
Really was. But look, guys. Yes, it's been a year and a half, and I really wouldn't want it any other way. Peeps, I appreciate you, man. I'm grateful for you.
Yes.
Listen, the gift that keeps on giving, man. The gift that keeps on giving.
Thank you.
But most definitely, guys, with that being said, we will go on the air for New Year's Eve next week. Last episode of 2022. We will most definitely... Peeps, don't even mention it, man. Don't even mention it. Yes. Don't even mention it. But guys, look, we will be on the air next week. Last episode, I want you guys to go ahead and blow up with the questions. Yes. Last time we're going with questions for this year, blow up with them. Do whatever you guys have to do. However many you guys want to go ahead and go with, we'll do it. I'm fine with it. But guys, look, at the end of the day, we thank you guys for the next 2 days. Enjoy it with your fam, whether you might be traveling out right now, you're in the car, going up the road to somewhere, whether it be, northeast, due to the fact that I know it's not, crazy like snow. But I mean, hey, listen, do what you guys have to do. Whatever the case may be, just know that we're grateful that we were able to go ahead and not only minister inside your homes, but also to your glorious ears.
Yes.
So with that being said, on this episode of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event, Season 5, Episode 3, I, the Phenomenal One,
and I, the Peeps Nate, where of course we came,
we saw,
and in the words of jolly old Saint Nick,
you sure it's not the walrus?
We conquered. Yeah, exactly.
We conquered, ladies and gentlemen. Oh gosh, jolly old Saint Nick.
Yes.
Imagine Paul Heyman were to listen to this and say to himself, "You bastards!
That's sacrilege."
Exactly. I'm a Jew, for God's sakes. What the heck is your problem? Oh man. But yes,
enjoy yourselves, everybody. For those that enjoy that, for those that are celebrating Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, safe Hanukkah. For those that celebrate Christmas, have a very safe Christmas. For those that celebrate Kwanzaa or Festivus or Merry Christmas, Harry, whatever.
Happy Chrysler, for God's sakes. Golly.
And for those that are going to watch football all day and today and tomorrow, have at it, because that's what I'm going to be doing.
You already know, Peeps. I'm on it. That Minnesota game got me kind of feeling a little jumpy. So we'll see what's up. But guys, listen, as he said, exactly what he said. Have a safe and wonderful Christmas. We will see you guys next week. It is the Phenomenal One and the Deep Voice Dynamo Peeps Nate signing off here on Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Peace, love, Farewell.